Hey, 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 this is your recap Aunty. Hey, y'all, this is Shar. Hey, hey, hey. Let me make sure I got my damn earplugs in. I was trying to do one meeting after another. Ooh, child, what a busy life we weave. If at first you don't succeed, I know that's wrong, but it's something I made up. Let me fix my ear. Hey, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, whew. What a hot ass day. Somebody said it's hotter than Satan's ass. I was like, wow, that's some hot shit. Hopefully, y'all are staying hydrated and cool, and don't be out there if you don't need to be, honey. Run your fans, run your air, everything that you need to stay safe out of this heat. But anyway, we're here for the front porch talk. Right before we go ahead and look at episode number 80, we had 80 episodes, y'all. Can y'all believe that? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It has been a journey and it looks like it's just getting better and better. So let's go ahead and see what y'all talking about. What about episode number 79? What is y'all gossiping about? Let's see. We got Miss Raquel Batson, 3260. She said, the scene with Eva and Nicole was so sweet. Nicole loves Eva. I think she may forgive her before Ted. Girl, I agree. I think she already has. I really believe so. But Eva been lying too. She took that helmet and them gloves and protected her mammy. So, like I said, Nicole, when she come out of this shit, she gonna find out that everybody's been lying to her face, and she ain't gonna know what to do. She gonna go into a tailspin. Raquel also said, she said Vernon put Bill in his place, baby. Pimp walk, right? Vernon told that nigga where to go and how to get there. I was loving it. She says, Danny. Raquel also says, Danny, I know they have so much history, but she has to let it go. Move forward, girl. I love how Pammy told her the truth about her and Bill. Right. That's a real friend for you. Only a real friend will tell you the truth. Move on, girl. Move the fuck on. Raquel also says, Ted and Eva, does Kat know she has been replaced? I'm sure she does, honey. I'm sure she does. Because Eva is a great, like Nicole said, girl, no, you were not good. You were brilliant. I said, girl, you just better feed her soul, honey. That was really sweet of her. My girl Cynthia Judkins 2250, she says, Bill snapped at Tomas. I feel bad for him, right? He's like, next time you not come in here, knock on the door. I'm like, God, dog it, Bill. Like Tomas said, any other day we could just walk up in here. Now you fussing? You mean ass? Okay, Cynthia also says Leslie lying on Bill. Right. Yeah, now I do believe that nigga was laughing at her, but he was like, what you doing wasting my time? The girl lies like it's her middle name. Leslie. That's why they named her that. That's the second part of her name, Leslie. Because if she did visit him, if she did, he laughed, but he laughed because it was a joke, her coming there asking for his help. He thought it was funny if she did do that shit. Okay, we got Shy Mo10. Hey Shy, I just love the way you give us all the show. Thank you, boo. Girl, I'm the only one that's gonna do that. Everybody else be just giving you the shortcut, honey. I'm gonna give you the long way to San Jose, honey. That's what I do. Thank you, Shy. We have my girl Crystal Waters. Crystal says, Kat should realize that Bill wouldn't help crazy ass Leslie. Right. Leslie never even talked to Bill. She tried to get help from Tomas and he walked out on her. Hell, all Kat really needs to do is go and ask Bill. That's all she got to do because that's her uncle. No matter what, that's her uncle. So you right, Crystal. We got Cynthia Junkins. She says, I love the advice Nicole gave Eva, and the dress was fine. Girl, Rodney girl. Nicole be dressing, honey. Ever since her and Ted broke the fuck up, she be dressing her ass off. I just love it. And it fed my soul too, honey. Don't be giving up. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Before I even started this, I was so hesitant about just doing my YouTube channel. Just like, ain't nobody gonna want to listen to my ass. And, they don't want to see me on camera. I just felt that same way. But I'm like, girl, don't let fear get in your way. What they call it, the false evidence appearing real. Fear. No, don't do that. That's not cool. It ain't cute. So that's why I'm here, girl. So we got Raquel Batson, 3260. She also says, I am over Leslie. Oh my God, Rod. It's dragging out like the Tyler Perry show. Girl, Kat got a little ghetto today too. Okay. I mean, like she like, girl, bye. I loved it though. But yeah, Leslie is her desperation is really just oozing through her coiffed hair, honey. It's just oozing in through her cheekbones. It's not cute anymore. She just seems desperate, and I don't like it. At some point she did seem pretty strong, but now she just looks really, really like, please help me. Will somebody love me? Help me. No, girl, ain't nobody helping you. You made an ass of yourself, and now you're isolated. Nobody wants to be around a shitty ass. Anyway, we got Crystal Water. She's like, I bet Nicole won't be as mad as when she realizes what they did to her baby boy out of prison. Right, girl. They had to do something to help Martin prevail over those thieving racists. Girl, she is going to be mad. But I'm also mad at her because remember he said, Mama, I feel like I'm losing my mind. And she was like, okay, well, go see one of my friends. I didn't like that either. I really didn't like how she handled that. But she definitely going to be pissed how the way that they handle her boy. So I feel sorry for him. Cynthia Judkins also said, child, I was here for Vernon and Bill's show, honey. Popcorn, 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 honey. It was the read. They reads was so slick and so smooth, sis. I was like, yes. I was digging every bit of all of the back and forth. Like I said, I felt like I was at Wimbledon, baby. It was so good. It was so good. Cynthia also says, stop. The only thing you missed was Vernon. Okay, telling Martin, we wait. Oh, okay, we watch and see what happens. And then back to Kat and Jacob at Orphe Jeans, making sure Leslie actually left. Okay. Thank you, my love. I love when you put those little alerts up for me. You my boo, girl. Cynthia, you are my boo. All of y'all are my boos. But I thank you. Because I was so mad that my shit went blue. I was like, what the fuck? What happened? Shit. And then they talking about some damn war. Y'all get off my TV. Look, talk about that at 5 o'clock. Don't talk about it at 2. Okay, so Linda Thornton 6607. Hey, Miss Linda, what's going on? She said yes. So I'm thinking that she's agreeing with what Cynthia said about what happened during those times that I missed, or she just want to say yes because she agree with me, girl. Hey, Linda, girl, don't let this be the last time you say something, honey. We are here having a good time on this front porch. We got Miss Carolyn McWilson 497. Hey, Miss Carolyn, what's going on, sis? She says, sick of Eva and those darn tears. Nicole just gaslit the hell out of Eva. Eva is trying to get back in with the Richardsons to Eva. The riches to Eva, it doesn't make any difference. Yeah, it really doesn't. Nicole was evaluating Eva at every turn. Eva has enough tears for Ashley for Ashley one alone. Ashley got on my nerves. As a matter of fact, we haven't seen her this week, have we? No, today's Tuesday. No, we haven't seen her. We haven't seen Ashley this week. She'll be back, honey, with her tears and everything. So, okay. Thank you, Miss Carolyn. She also says Martin sure is on a long break from Congress. Right, because we never see that nigga on the floor nowhere. We never see him. Where is he? You know, it's like, okay, you mad at Smitty working, but nigga, you ain't working. Thank you, Carolyn. That's something I never noticed, honey. You better say that. Everybody else is working around there except for Leslie and Martin. God dog it. And we have Miss Raquel Batson. She says they always are interrupting our fucking show. Girl, ain't they? Getting on my damn nerves. I'm like, y'all know better. Interrupt damn Young and the Restless. Okay, hopefully y'all not no Y&R fans. If you are, God bless you. My mama used to love that show. I tried to get into it. I just couldn't. Was that the same one that had Mrs. Chancellor on there a long time ago? Because that bitch, ooh. I remember hearing about the fact that she had a facelift live on the air. See, that was back in the 80s. 80s, honey. 80s. She had a live facelift on the air. It was like, we're going to do something new. And what I can't wait, and I hope that they do this, I cannot wait for Beyond the Gates to do a live recording. Like, every soap opera, everything is already recorded, like we know that. But sometimes they like to just cross the line, and they will do like a live recording. So anything could happen, will happen. That's going to be some fun. Oh my God, if they ever do that, I'm going to scream. I cannot wait. Hopefully they'll do that. Maybe on their 100. No, they've already, maybe 5,000th or 1,000. I don't know. But hopefully they do that one day. They do like a live recording. That would be so fun. So like if a light falls down, honey, Danny got to pretend to pick that shit up, you know, and they're reading their lines off of the teleprompter. So they've already know what the script is because they got the script down in their heart, you know, so they might not sin against BTG. But when it comes to certain lines that they might forget, then the teleprompters are always around there. I remember every soap opera back in the day would have a live showing. So hopefully they will cross that line one day once they get their footing and they've done it maybe a few years, and it'll be easy for them. Then you will pretty much know what your character is going to say. Even if you are off script, you already know what's going to happen. So that'd be cool if they do that. But anyway, thank y'all girls. Thank you ladies and gentlemen. I know there's some men out there listening, honey. Thank y'all for sitting on the front porch with your auntie and your sis and just having some good time with our big ass glass of water, honey, with ice all in that shit, because it is hot. It is hot. So let me go ahead and get this mash together, honey, so we can get ready to enjoy episode number 80 of Beyond the Gates. What y'all think is going to happen today? Are the men going to get together, honey? Let me push play and find out. Let's go. Hey, we opened up episode number 80, honey, with Ted walking into the country club with Eva, and he was like, pick your poison, tiramisu, this and that. And so she was like, Cat. He's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. She said, no, honey, Cat is standing right there, Dad. So Ted was like, Cat, girl, I've been leaving you a half a dozen messages, honey. It's really good to finally lay eyes on my daughter. Cat was like, well, you know how it is when you're juggling a lot of things, Dad. The royals call it an heir and a spare for a reason. Ooh, Cat said, looks like your long-lost daughter picked up where I left off. Girl. Oh, she says staying at the hotel with you, taking over my job at the office. I'm like, who said that? So Ted was like, well, that's why I've been trying to reach out to you, because I wanted to tell you the good news myself. He was like, well, I guess I assume that you must have heard it from the folks at the clinic. And Kat was her smart ass. She said, well, the staff, they are my family, okay? I would never just abandon them, Dad. So Ted was like, well, then they must have told you that Eva was an instant fit. So Kat was like, or they're too afraid to tell their boss his illegitimate daughter's not ready for prime time. Okay, hot ponytail. We go to Bill's office and we see Haley, honey, looking like I Dream of Jeannie, honey, with her, I guess, emerald green pantsuit. Okay, she look cute. I like it. See Caroline, at the office. We haven't seen Caroline in a long time. They used to be best friends, So she comes off the elevator. Hey, Caroline. And so Caroline was like, what's up, girl? So Caroline was like, girl, I didn't know you were coming by tonight. So Haley was like, girl, I came to collect the patient, honey. Dr. Montgomery's orders. So Caroline was like, girl, he listened, honey. And he left a long time ago. And Haley was like, really? And so Caroline's like, So Haley, oh, well, miracles do happen. Y'all, I lost the voice, but she's back. Miracles do happen for my Bill. So Caroline was like, yeah, girl, Bill, he is a changed man, honey. And, Haley was like, yeah. Imagine that. That nigga ain't say nothing to me. He ain't say shit. Her earrings is cute. Go ahead, Haley. I like that look on you, girl. And you ain't got no big forehead either. Wait a minute. So Bill came over to Danny's house? The fuck he doing over there? I must have missed something. Maybe he did come over there doing that blue scene on yesterday. I'll look at my notes, but we are over at Danny's house and he over there limping and she's fixing a drink. I know her panties is all happy, honey. They are smiling wide. Danny, please, girl, don't fall for his trick. So I guess he came over there to finally get a drink because he can't do it at home because, Haley ain't going to let him do it. So he came over there and got a drink from, the first wife. So she poured him a drink and poured herself a drink. And she's like, your wish is granted. So they clinged glasses and he's drinking it like he ain't drank no dark liquor in a long time. All right, fuck up that stroke now. So after he drank his shit, yeah, that's the stuff right there. So she's looking at him with that cane. She's like, that thing right there, that cane, it kind of suits you in an odd way. Yeah, he's wearing his diabolical black too, looking like a pimp. Well, you don't think it's too much, he says. And she's like, nah, it's you. And he's like, yeah, okay. So he's a frat. He said, I haven't used one of these since I stepped in college. So either he's a Sigma, which is my fraternity brothers, or he's a Kappa. I can see him being a Kappa. Most Kappas and Sigmas, they step with canes. But if he said stepped in college back in the day, it might have been a Kappa. Bet you he's a Kappa. He said, I didn't think I was going to work a cane again until I was way older than this. Okay, Danny was like, you know what I always say, honey, it's not the age, baby, it's how you use it. And I actually think you could use more. He was like, okay, what you mean? She was like, have Chelsea just use that shit up, like bling it out, put some sparkles on it, make that thing look like a cane, baby. Yeah, put a lion's head on that shit or a Black Panther, make it a cane for a cane. You know what I'm saying? Char be thinking of some shit, y'all. Something that screams, she said, Bill Hamilton. You know, give it some personality, baby. He's slurping that down drink. He's like, oh man, thanks again for this, girl. I appreciate it. He talks about Haley with her, like, you know, that Haley actually poured out our entire bar. What? So Danny was like, wait a minute, you know I am not the one if you need to unload how awful it is that your new wife is just trying to keep your ass alive. And he was like, yeah, no question. So she was like, what? Like, so why the drop by in the text message, huh? She was like, why the fuck are you really here, Bill? Then our music come on. Boom, 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 boom. So we are back behind the red door, which we know that's Martin and Smitty's house. So Smitty is looking at some computer, some paperwork, like he's deep in thought. And so Martin comes in like, oh, you look like you really, you know, got your head in the books, you know, thinking about something, working on something. Please tell me that you've moved on from that tedious detective story. Honey, Smitty said, not yet, baby. I'm in the thick of this Marcel Malone thing. I mean, Martin is looking all suspicious like, how thick is we talking? He was like, well, you know that the Pulitzer committee don't give the same one to the same good old cop, bad cop stories now. So Smitty turned the paper around. He's like, you know that exposing bad cops was one of the reasons why I became a writer. And this damn story, honey, this story is getting deeper by the minute. Oh, my. The next scene we hear Jacob laying down, groaning, and we see Naomi on top of him. Well, he's on his stomach and she's on his back, okay? Just so we know. And she's giving his back a nice massage. You know that baby's been stressed. Go ahead and push it out of him, Naomi. I tell you, if nothing else, Jacob gonna show that chest. You hear me? Jacob showed us the chest on episode 1, and he gonna ride that out. Jacob was going to show his chest. So he was telling her that knot that he, you know, that he had in his back, thank you, because he needed that. And she gave him a kiss. He said, baby, I needed that too. She's like, what's the matter, boo? I mean, you getting a lot of new cases at the office. What's the tea? He was like, well, you know, my dad is part of it. She was like, what's going on with Elon? Girl, he ain't here with me. That's why. So she was like, look, we know from my dad that stress is not good for the body. He was like, no worries there. My pops is in tip-top shape. I'm like, yes, he is. His fine self. But he ain't just the, you know, just just the job. He's like the whole damn department. What am I saying? It's hot, y'all. Department. And he's saying something's really getting ready to go down. And that could really break bad for the both of them, whether he's the head of that department or the head of the whole, you know, precinct. It's going to be bad for Brother Elon. So we're back at the office. So Haley tries to try to brush it off. Well, I have to get back home before Bill tries to eat or drink something that he's not supposed to. Night. And so Caroline says, girl, you're a saint. And then Haley was like, no, that is you, girl. Uh-oh. Vernon, baby, arrives. He gets off the elevator, and as she turns around, Haley sees him getting off the elevator. Remember, he had just talked about her to Bill yesterday. She's like, hello, Senator. He said, Mrs. Hamilton, don't let me keep you. So he waits till she gets off the elevator, and he says, Bill and I have an appointment. So Caroline was like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. And she's typing like, I don't see anything on the books about that. And actually, Bill left a bit ago. So Vernon was like, look, girl, I'm early. Believe me, he would not miss this for the world. So we're back at Danny's house, and so they're about to sit down and have a little tie. And so he's like, you know what? Bill says, the couple times I've been here. He's grunting as he's sitting down. Bless his heart. I love that piece of artwork that's over her couch. I'm going to have to see who's the artist because it's really, really beautiful. I mean, since I've moved out, he says, it just feels like time stood still here or something, you know? He tries to drag her like everything's exactly the same. So Danny was like, what was I supposed to do? Redecorate or move? He was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, why didn't you. Danny was like, honey, I took years to fill this home with the things that I loved, honey. So I'm just supposed to unmake it and decide to just move on just because you woke up and decided one day that you wanted to move on too with a new wife and a new life? There's no reason that I should part with things that I'm actually connected to just because they stink of you. So he's speechless. He don't know what to say. She's like, look, why are you sitting on my couch drinking my scotch? And please do not insult me by saying that you came for the drink. Please. Your ass passed a dozen bars on your way to my house. He says, well, no, I didn't just come for the drink. So she's like, okay, right. I know that. So why did you come to my front door? I mean, did the stroke throw you off your game? You forgot where you live, nigga? Aren't you supposed to be going in for the kill already? She said. He was like, okay, yeah, I earned that. But I don't have my hand out this time. She said, then what the fuck is this? He takes this deep breath. He's like, well, look, there's no other person in this world who knows me as well as you do, Danny Dupree. When I was in that hospital bed, I was trapped in my body and my mind, and I didn't know if I'd ever walk or talk the same way again. If I ever be the big bad Bill Hamilton again. And you walked into that room, Bill, and your eyes met mine and you read me body and soul. What that mean? The whole volume of Bill Hamilton in a single look. When I tell you Danny is swooning, she has her head in her hand and she's just leaning over like, ah. He was like, and you didn't owe me that at all. You owed me the opposite, but still you grabbed my hand and you willed me back. And Danny, I just can't seem to shake it. It's been hitting me over and over and over again. Ever since I came out of that fog, So Danny was like, what has? She was like, what are you saying, Bill? She looked so choked up. She's come so far, and he always reels her back. Pamela, where are you? Ooh, he said that I wronged you. Wow. He says, that's why I'm here. Whew, I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, we're back at the country club with Ted and the two girls. So Ted tells Kat, he was like, you've always made it a point to make new employees feel welcome, girl. And the staff is doing the same with Eva. So Kat was like, wow, everything's moving on as if I was never there. He was like, sweetheart, he grabbed Kat's hand. The staff can miss you and support Eva at the very same time. Just like I have room for both of my daughters in my life. Please, Leslie, don't bust up in there. You always fuck up a good dream. So Kat was like, nobody whose paycheck you sign is going to tell you, Dad, that hiring your newfound offspring was a huge mistake. Ooh, Kat. I told you her reads are just vicious. So Eva was like, look, I told everybody that I have a huge learning curve ahead of me. So they were very, Dad, can you not even be alone for 1 minute? That's Kat. Kat just interrupt Eva while the girl is talking. Damn. I know you're missing Mom, okay? But to throw open the doors to your life and your life's work to a girl who came to town to ruin it. I mean, it's not like she swore off her mean-ass mama. So Ted was like, look, I know what I'm doing, girl. And Eva, she is free of Dana. That's what you would think. Kat was like, you can't possibly believe that shit. Not that there's the evil version of Mom and me forever tied together. So Eva kind of corrected that. Well, look, I can never turn my back on my mom completely, but I am done going down that messy road with her. Kat was like, your ass knew what she did to Laura, and instead of turning her in, your ass covered for her. Uh-oh. We hear the music. Ted was like, what? Wait a minute. What the fuck is this? What? Eva was like, I had my suspicions that Mom had something to do with Laura's accident, and so did the police, but they couldn't find anything there. Kat was like, bitch, you lied just like your mammy. Your ass had the chance to do the right thing. You had your mom's fate in the palm of your fucking hand, and your ass chose wrong. Uh-oh. Eva was like, what did I have? What could I have possibly given to the police, huh? Huh, sissy? Then Kat goes back to her memory when she was underneath that bed. She took that helmet and them gloves, girl. You talking too much, Cat. You getting like Leslie. All right, we're back at the office, and we see Thomas comes in and greets Senator Dupree. Senator Dupree, it's a pleasure to see you again, sir. And Vernon was like, "Ah, Thomas. Ah, yeah, Cat's young man. Yeah, yeah. Caroline told me that you was waiting for Bill. He must have been delayed for some reason. Is there anything that I can do for you, sir?" Vernon was like, "Well, in this case, only Bill will do." Here go Tomas talking too much too. I didn't realize that the Duprees still have business with our firm, especially not since your daughter and Bill split. Vernon was like, it takes a little bit longer to untie loose ends than a marriage, apparently. Yeah. Uh-oh, Caroline brings another person in the room, the fine ass Elon. Ow! Carolina introduces Chief Hawthorne, you know, the senator. They coming in there, baby. So Caroline was like, I'm out of here because there's too much important people here. But I did text Bill, and I let him know that you're waiting for his ass. He's like, oh, nothing at all. Have a good night. And I'm sure Thomas is like, can I stay? Child, Caroline was like, them eyeballs was just going. She's like, oh, shit, this is something deep. You got the senator and the head chief of police here, and they come to meet with, ooh, let me get out of here, honey. So Vernon introduces Tomas Navarro to Elon Hawthorne, the chief of police. Go ahead, see, Vernon is such a gentleman. Tomas is like, it is an honor to meet you, chief. And Elon was like, all right. So cold-blooded. So Vernon kind of brags a little bit. Yeah, Thomas is on the partner track here. Yeah, he's also seeing my granddaughter, Kat. So Elon was like, yeah, you're a lucky man. I'm sure that you got something better to do than to sit around here and babysit us. I do have dinner plans with Kat. Vernon was like, go, yeah. She likes to be the one to make this big entrance, honey. Go ahead, go. And don't tell her that you saw me here. You hear me? He says, of course. Then he skedaddles, honey. Although Vernon was very proper, you needn't mention that I was here. No, don't tell her ass that you saw me or the cops too. Yeah, don't tell her shit, cause you know cats wheels get to spinning, baby. So Elon, they wait till he leave, and so Elon was like, well, where the fuck is everybody else? And Vernon was like, man, you know more than me about navigating the districts more than most. I don't know where everybody at, but they'll be here. It ain't no surprise that the traffic guys don't care about our troubles, baby. If you're talking about Washington, D.C., the traffic guards are always on duty, because the traffic there is always full of shit. That damn Tomas. So you see Carolina at the front desk, get ready to go. He's like, what's with the senator, the chief and police, and Bill all meeting here after hours? What's that about? So Caroline was like, girl, my guess is one of the Duprees is in some trouble. So we're back at the house with the red door, Smitty and Martin's house. So Martin was like, well, what's going on with Malone? So Smitty was like, well, I don't know if I should tell you, because last time I told you that shit, you started twitching and shit. We couldn't bring you back. It triggers you. He's like, look, I'm fine. I got it under control. He was like, Smitty was like, well, did you see the psychiatrist? Yeah, I'm going to get it. So tell me what happened. Man, things are not adding up. That's what Smitty says. He's like, what you mean? This guy quietly funded $500,000 into his bank account. Shit, I wish. So Smitty was like, that ain't nothing. So Martin, he was not even like, what? That much? He didn't say nothing like that. He was like, how the fuck you found out about the money? So if I was Smitty, I'd be like, So Smitty was like, I had a trusted source. They ain't never steer me wrong. So Martin was like, God damn it. He was like, God. He put the book back on the shelf. And Smitty was like, hey, what's the tea? You all right? And there he go, busting. I just don't like you working on this shit, Smitty. Damn. And Smitty was like, why not? I mean, Malone has no connection to us or your job. I have a bad feeling, Smitty. I mean, what if you push Malone into the corner and or his job? What if what would he do to protect that kind of money, honey? Not to mention his reputation, his standing at the department. I think you should just cut your losses, baby, and just get rid of that story. First of all, you didn't give him the story to do, Martin. It was his boss. So you just think that he just gonna not do it just because you tell him don't do it? No, his boss told him to do it, and he's damn good at it. You're wrong, bro. Smitty came back with strong. He's like, okay, Goldilocks, which is it? First, the story is too small. Now it's too big and dangerous. We go that no, this one is just right. Y'all know the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Read, Smitty, read. Okay, here comes Martin talking about he don't want Smitty to get hurt. How he's gonna get hurt? So Smitty take off his glasses and he was like look, Martin, I've been at this stuff long enough to know when something is off. And here your ass is throwing all these red flags. And here Martin, well here I thought I was talking to my husband, not the press. Smitty stands up and says, nigga, I'm both. He didn't say nigga, but I'm saying that I'm both. Now, I would have never told you, talk you out of about anything of who you are, Congressman. I support you in your job. Why the fuck you can't support me? And what is it about this Malone guy? Do you know him somehow? Can I just have a feeling, baby? Smitty was like, yes, you just... Oh, well, what's your feeling and what brought it on? Martin was like, look, it ain't nothing specific. And Smitty was like, see, here we go again. You're evading. You're not telling me everything. And he tries to walk out and he says, see, and now, Smitty says, and now you're gearing up for an argument when all you have to do is just talk to me. And why the fuck are you always on edge? And what does this have to do with your episodes? Martin was like, I told you. And Smitty was like, I heard you. I heard what the fuck you said, but I need for you to talk to me. I'm right here, right now. So the phone buzzes, that's Vernon, like, bring your ass over here. So he was like, sorry, baby, this thing at the office I forgot all about. I hope Smitty follows him there. I hope Smitty gets in his car and follows him. Ooh, that's going to be such a good one. So Martin claimed he got to go, and Smitty was like, look, Martin, I really think that could wait, baby. I really do. I think that we should. So he was like, look, Smitty, can you just drop this one? No article is worth risking our future, okay? When you say deep shit like that, and Smitty, as nosy as he is, he's not going to just walk away. Our future? All I'm just doing is just, interviewing this old ass retired detective. But you talking about it's going to ruin our future? Okay, you got me real curious. So he goes back to a memory. Everybody's going back to memories today of him yelling at Smitty, stop, will you stop pushing, stop. So we are back at Naomi and Jacob's chest, and and so Naomi was like, so this reporter, your source, are they sure? So Jacob was like, well, yeah, he got his sources is right on it, and Joy Armstrong and Marcel are like moving together like they got history. And he said, what if this is just the first layer? That shit could get deeper and more dangerous. So Naomi was like, I thought Elon had explained that away. And so Jacob was like, look, Dad only said that Joey was Malone's informant, that he was using Joey as part of a sting operation. So he said, but my source told me that the funds that they saw during that sting was not put in a dummy account. Nope, they were put in his personal checking account. She says that Marcel must have duped Elon. So Jacob was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course he had to do that. My dad ain't going to do that. No. Yeah. He said, my dad would never turn his back on a dirty cop, no matter how far they go back. Wow. So Naomi was like, well, look, how do you make sense out of all this shit? And he was like, look, I'm thinking the way it started out, this is what Jacob said, as like a legitimate operation with Armstrong. Then one day, every damn thing just went left. Some cops, baby, they see that kind of money and they just can't resist it. But my guess is that my dad missed it because he still sees Marcel as this cop in his rookie class. So Naomi was like, no wonder you're so tense, baby. Because everybody will start thinking that probably Elon is on the take too. Or that he missed what was staring his ass right in the face. He was like, yeah, And the only thing about this, baby, this story has to move forward. And with everything that I've already uncovered, Marcel did not only burn his ass, but he also burned my dad too. Okay, so we hear his phone kind of click. Jacob normally has this really pretty ring, but this time he got a text and he said he got to go. I'm assuming that it's Smitty text him to ask him to see if he can see him about this case. So Naomi was like, just be careful out there, baby. You need to bring all that back to me. He was like, I will. You know that. I got you. So we are back at Danny's house, and so she tells Bill, look, I need your ass to be clearer about what you're saying to me. He was like, look, I'm sorry, but I'm not coming back to you. And she was like, nigga, you were not invited. Listen, I belong with Haley. I chose I choose Haley. The divorce, the marriage, and the expected child were clues one, two, and three. That's what Danny says. Get to the fucking point, Bill. He actually says that he really regrets how he left her. He also says, looking back, I don't know how to explain myself. Danny was like, try, motherfucker. He says it again. He felt trapped. And I blamed you because you just seem so oblivious to it all. You didn't seem like you knew or cared that I was clawing at the walls. Danny was like, you didn't think I didn't know? Damn it, I know you, Bill. And I felt that storm was coming. I just didn't know that that storm's name was Haley. I thought you would gut it out through your midlife crisis. He looked at her like, what? And she says, and one day just wake up and grab onto me like you did in a hospital, and you wouldn't be scared anymore. And we would be fine. And instead, you ran away to her. I told myself that our love had died years ago, like you were just holding on to me like one of your Birkins. Oh wow, they was rich, just for show. That's just the story that I told myself so that I wouldn't have to face the hurt that I was causing you. Wow, it was me. I was the one who was just going through the motion all those years. Wow, I was never going to leave you, but I was just I just thought that we were just going to keep going the way we were going until I couldn't anymore. Danny was like, until you met that bitch. He says it. I know it must seem that way to you, Danny, but it was a long time coming. It was long before Haley. Well, damn, she said, well, couldn't you not have given me a damn hint? You wrecked me. Yeah, then you rolled up all cowboy Danny style to rumble with me. I could work with that, I prefer the battle to the guilt. Wow, this is deep. Maybe she needed this for closure. Because I think that she was like, I did everything right. I was a perfect wife. I was there for you. I helped you with your law firm. We got two beautiful girls. She really was, I think she was low key blaming herself and mad at him for not telling her. Wow, I think that she needed this. I think this is going to help her move on. I really do. I hope so. He says, I should have seen your pain. Damn. And I see that pain now, and I should have. I could have handled everything a lot differently. Wow. But I didn't want to face myself because I was a damn coward. I'm not going to keep saying wow, but wow. This is deep. Who would have known? I guess that whole stroke scared Bill and had him thinking about, maybe there's something to, not. I really thought that he loved Daddy, but I think he was more appreciative of her. I guess I read it wrong. I thought he loved her. But I think he felt guilty. I really believe that he's going to stick it out, that he really does love Haley. I see it. I feel like he does. And maybe the Duprees didn't have anything to do with it. I guess he was just really pretending. And there are a lot of relationships like that. I have a good friend of mine was in a marriage for a long time and never thought that their significant other cared, because being a female, she just didn't show a lot of affection and stuff. So when things didn't work out between them, she broke. He really thought that she was, going to be okay without him. But for a little bit, honey, she was not okay without him. And he was really, really surprised. So that's the thing about a lot of marriages. You really are locked into somebody for 20, 30 years. You're changing, but they're not. They're changing, but you're not. Vice versa. It's like they don't try to grow together. Like, talk about stuff. If you getting real freaky and shit, you want to start sucking toes and you never did it for 20 years, tell that person you want to suck some toes so that y'all can experience things together and evolve and grow, because people just don't want to talk. You just go through life, just living your life as a married couple and looking perfect, although everything's not perfect, but you look the road. But when you get home, it's something totally different. On the inside, you don't want to talk, you just roll with the punches. And so this is deep, because there are a lot of married couples that have gone through what Bill and Danny have gone through. I know one personally. So thank you, Beyond the Gates, for putting this in our face, because sometimes we always see the woman's point of view. We always want to call him a cheater. He's a cheater. He's a cheater, which he did. He did some infidelities and stuff. But this is no excuse now. I ain't excusing Bill. But but if the shoe was on the other foot, and if it was Danny the one feeling like this, then I think that we all will look at it a whole different way, you know. So that's all I'm saying. I do like to look at both sides of the coin and not try to judge people because, you know, never say never. You know, we all, you know, have our vices and what we ain't gonna do. You know, there's some things no I ain't gonna do, but there's some things if given the opportunity you just don't know. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. He goes on and says that he gave her their promise and her youth because, you know, she was like 18, 19 when got married to him. And he said, you also gave me two beautiful daughters who are the pride and joy of my life. I should have honored that and I should have honored you. Damn. Wow. He said he's truly sorry for all of it. That Nick. So we're back at the country club. So poor Ted. Ted is like, okay, y'all, can we just take this down a notch? Y'all is being too loud. We don't want these people to be thinking we nigga. Eva was like, look, I keep trying to do that shit, but you, Cat, you keep twisting everything around. Everything I say, you keep twisting that shit. Cat was like, there's no twisting necessary, honey, when your ass is always lying. You're covering for your mammy. Again, just like you did the last damn time. And when her ass walks away clean, then you're going to act all shocked and innocent like you tried to stop it when you didn't. Again. Eva was like, girl, you keep accusing me, honey, with no proof. If you got it, honey, show it. Cat was like, oh, I've got proof, bitch. All right, y'all, that's enough. That's enough. That's Ted in the middle with his chocolate self. He was like, if you just leave Dana out of the equation, girls, then you see it. They both were like, see the fuck what? That's what I was like saying, like before I pushed play. I was like, see what? I was like, what the fuck you talking about, Ted? You sometimes he's fine, but damn, honey, you just didn't make no sense. He was like that the two of you are not as far apart as you think. He said, you both are bright, you both are fierce and determined. I see you in each other. Then he looks at Kat. Join us for dinner, girl. She looks at her father. She says, I can't. I already have plans with. Then she looks at Eva. Tomas. She looks at Eva and says, my boyfriend and me finally carved out some special, uninterrupted, just us time, bitch. So I'm going to talk to the chef about a menu design for just my sweetie and me. Child, Eva is looking like, remember she tried to kiss him a couple weeks ago and he pushed her off. I don't know. If Cat keep pushing him off, he gonna be knocking it on Eva's door. So Ted was like, oh, that's nice. Well, have fun, sweetheart. And he gives her a kiss. And she said, oh, we will. And Cat switches out of there with a little itty bitty shorts. Girl, you better walk, Cat. So she leaves. And so Eva was like, well, no cuts or visible bruises. And so Ted was like, do me a favor and keep trying. Because in the end, so while he was talking, girl, he looked over and he saw that damn Kenneth acting like he's cleaning the damn, wiping off the damn table. He looked. He's they must got a picture of his ass. And he looked at his watch. And so Eva was like, Ted, you good? What's the tea? Because he knew he got a meeting to attend. He was like, Eva, I have an emergency. She was like, what you mean? You didn't get no text or nothing. He's like, it's something I got to take care of. It's something I got to do. She's like, okay, well, that's cool. I'll go with you. He's like, no. Oh, no. You stay. You have dinner and have the tiramisu and just text me when you get home. All right? So we back at Danny and Bill talking. He said, look at me. Even my apology ain't good. I mean, here you go, standing on solid ground, and here I am reopening old wounds. What you are? God, dog. Danny, honey, do you know how long I've waited to hear you say that? Those wounds never closed because I felt like I was being gaslit. Like I was making us up. He was like, yeah, if I just would have handled the situation a whole different way, then things would have never gotten so out of control. I still would have fought like hell for your ass, but maybe I would have been a little bit easier on myself in the process. Hell, I thought that there was something missing in me, something I could have done to save us. Your ass just left me out there twisting. There we go, talking about that twisting. Remember, Cat and Eva was talking about twisting words, and now she's talking about how he left her out there twisting in her feelings. He was like, yo, it's all too late, but I'm sorry for that too. She was like, well, why the fuck tonight, Bill? What happened today that drove you to my door to pour on the penance, huh? He says, the stroke. She says, you know that thing about me knowing you, honey? He looks at his watch and he was like, a case from the past has come back to give me grief. So she was like, wait a minute, you think you made some mistakes? He was like, no, I'm done owning up for those for tonight. She was like, okay, well, I'm glad you're here, Bill. Period. And I mean that shit. He's like, yeah, I think you do. And all I need to do was for my body to quit on me and for my entire life to flash before my eyes. That's the only reason why it took me that long to get here. So he was like, what are the odds that we keep this going, huh? Us without the vitriol. Well, we are sitting in the very place where you promised me, well, not just forever, but beyond forever. I'm still saying goodbye to my family when you're starting a new one with the woman who tore ours to pieces. So, yeah, I can't promise it's going to be all sweetness and light. When there are going to be times when I need to self-protect. He says, I have to respect that. So she was like, yeah, I am glad that your ass didn't die. He's like, well, I'm glad you're glad. Wow. So he limps out, honey, and she doesn't break down and cry, but she, have a little tears. Oh, 10. Oh, shit. Now we have Joey Armstrong who shows up at Bill's office because, again, Bill ain't there. He's just leaving Danny's house. And, of course, Elon and Vernon are there, and we have fine Marcel come in with his police badge on. Really, Marcel? So Joey was like, well, look what talent we got in this room. Senator, Mr. Armstrong. Oh, wow. Detective Malone. And so Elon was like, Bill is on his way. I'm like, damn, this is all the good money in this room. So Malone was like, no Martin. So Vernon was like, that was my call. He's still dealing with some residual trauma. And then Marcel was like, after 2 damn years, I've shot people and been back on the force within days. Elon was like, that ain't no port of pride, Marcel. Joy, a face card is worth more for a reason. Vernon says, I can vouch for my family's investment. Surely my word is sufficient. And then Joey responds and says, I do like having friends in high places, Senator. Elon was like, I imagine our guy's reappearance has hit a refresh button on Martin's PTSD. So Joey was like, wait a minute. So how sure are we that our friend is who he says he is? So Vernon said, look, he made contact with Martin and he knew things that no one else could know. And he threatened to make that shit public if we didn't pay. Marcel says, blackmail doesn't work so well if the secret gets out and out on its own. Vernon was like, you mean Smitty? And Joey was like, you mean the reporter? Smitty's name is all in this shit. Damn, Smitty. So Marcel was like, yeah, I heard he's still circling. And so Vernon was like, look, Smitty is family. Martin and I can handle his ass. So Elon was like, look, Jacob is my son. That's my family. I don't ever want him to know what happened that night. Lord, we at Orphy Jeans, baby, and Smitty is told. I told you that's who Jacob left to go meet. And so he's like, yeah, thanks for meeting me, man. So Jacob was like, yeah, what's up? So Smitty tells Jacob, like, something clicked to me, but I need to know if I'm seeing patterns that don't exist. So Jacob was like, okay, what you got? So Smitty says, even though in the beginning when he thought this was a vanity piece and he was just doing a really nice, goofy, fluffy piece on a retiring detective, Martin would really, really be like he would act real big every time I mentioned Malone's name. And now he wants my ass off the story. And just now he made it seem like our lives are on the line somehow if I continue with this story. So he was like, Jacob was like, well, big rhetorics is a thing for politicians. That ain't nothing new. So Smitty was like, nah, that ain't what this is, bro. I have a feeling that Martin knows something about Malone. So he was like, what? Jacob was like what? Smitty, tell me. So Smitty acts real hesitant, like, look, I really don't want to say it because it's going to make me sound like I'm paranoid and shit. So Jacob was like, look, I'm just coming around to trusting your instincts, all right? So maybe you should trust them too. So he was like, what's on your mind? So Smitty was like, well, maybe that Martin just doesn't know something about Malone. He's scared of that. So we're at the country club, and Tomas arrives, and he apologized to Kat for being late. Sorry, I'm late. So she's like, I'm so happy you're here. So they kiss each other. He was like, how do you do that? She's like, what? He's like, get more beautiful. You even smell more beautiful. You notice, I save it for the most special nights. He was like, wait, it is not your birthday. And it's not my birthday. You've been so understanding about everything, Tomas. So, my turn. I want this night to be just about us, okay? No work, no drama, just what I need. So they come in. She takes his hand and go into the dining area of the country club, and Eva was there eating alone. So, Kat was like, I was going to ask the chef to create a Puerto Rican meal, but I figured that nobody could hold a flame to your mother and your grandmother. So he was like, you're right about that. So she said, remember you told me about that perfect meal that you had in Spain? Well, the chef is recreating it. She even flew saffron in from that region you told me about. So he pulls out the chair and helps her to sit down. I don't like that they have him facing Eva, but it's the stories, honey. He was like, well, you don't mess around when you reciprocate. And she was like, yes. He was like, well, I can't wait to try. As he's adjusting himself, he sees Eva at the table by herself. So she was like, oh, she was here with my dad. He probably had to go to the hospital. I wish he would have just taken the trash out with him. Girl, didn't you just say no drama? You just said that like 2 or 3 steps away from the lobby. And here you go. So she looks up from her book that she's reading, because that's that book that he likes. So she just looks, and he just looks and nods at her. So Kat's telling him, look at the menu, damn it. Take a look. So he was like, this is spectacular, Kat. She's like, happy no drama day to us. And he looks over there back at Eva, and then she looks at him, and she acts like she's reading her book. So we're back at Orphe Jeans, and so Jacob was like, is this just a gut feeling, or is there something more tangible that links your husband to Malone? So Smitty says, I don't know how tangible this is. He tells Jacob about the recurring nightmares that Martin has been having for months now. And originally they thought that they were just like products of childhood trauma. But now he thinks that it's something about something more recent. He's like, now these damn nightmares are happening while he's awake, sometimes in a direct response to one particular name. Then he talks about when they were arguing about that story earlier tonight. He said he remembered something. Uh-oh. So he goes back to a memory. I don't remember us seeing this part. He said Martin came home from a political event, and he was with Vernon at, and he said he came home in the middle of the night. And when I tell you that Martin's shirt is so disheveled, he looks like he is like in shock. He said a weird thing he noticed that Martin had on different clothes. He said he claimed he had a flat tire, and he claimed he also ruined his suit. So Smitty was like, what, where's your clothes, baby? What happened to your suit? So Martin is looking like shocked, and he's like, I need some water. So Smitty was like, did you borrow this from Vernon? And so Martin is still looking like in a daze, like, yeah. So Smitty was like, where's the car? Did you call a tow? And Martin was like, no. So he keeps looking at Martin. Martin's trying to take off a shirt, unbutton a shirt. And so Smitty's like, man, you look wiped. Did you push the car back all the way to D.C.? And all of a sudden, Martin, stop it, stop pushing me, not that. So they came back to present day, and Jacob was like, well, what did he say after you asked him about it? He was like, I never said shit about it no more. We never talked about it again. So Jacob was like, look, I'm married too, and I can't imagine Naomi just coming home, looking all strange and shit like that, and we just dropping it, not talking about that shit no more. So Smitty was like, there was something about that night. I guess maybe it's something I just didn't want to know. So Jacob was like, okay, so Martin's been having nightmares. So you might think that it might be something that happened that night, and because Malone's names seems to trigger him, you think that shit is all connected. I got you. So Smitty's like, man, when you say it like that, and Jacob was like, yeah, it sounds like you damn reaching. And Smitty was like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought too. So he went back and checked the date of that event that Martin and Vernon went to, and it was 2 years ago. Just a few days before that $500,000 was dropped into Malone's bank account. So we back at Bill's office, and damn Marcel is like, we weren't in Bill's office. I think that nigga cut and ran off. I'm like, nigga, he can't run because he had a stroke. So Marcel was like, maybe we all should cut and run because I can see the promised land, baby. My retirement is right around the corner. So Joey was like, you realize, Marcel, that if we, ain't playing this exactly right, your ass ain't going to be sipping not my ties no damn well. You'll be making gin in the prison toilet. Joy was like, I do have an excellent recipe, though. So they hear the elevator bell, and Elon was like, finally, we can stop spinning all these ridiculous scenarios. So they think it's Bill coming up in there, and it's Teddy Weddy. So Teddy coming there like, what the hell is this? So Marcel was like, did Bill invite you? So Ted was like, the question is, why didn't any of you? I called him and told him I saw our old friend at the club tonight. One of y'all said that whenever he saw Ted that he ran. So Ted knew him. So whoever that was, I can't remember who it was. Please tell me who it was. You did say it right. You said that every time he saw Ted, he ran. So Ted did recognize him. That's strange that Martin didn't and Vernon didn't, but he ran away from Ted. So when Ted saw him, he's like, yeah, that's our old friend. So yeah, girl, you was right, boo. So Vernon was like, wait a minute, you knew him? You recognized him? And Ted was like, how could I not? Shit. And judging from the faces, the look on y'all faces, you knew too. Well, y'all gonna really make a move on this shit without me? So Vernon was like, your ass was hesitant on the last time around. And Ted was like, I did what I had to do then. What did y'all do? What did y'all do? And Ted was like, and I want to know what I need to do right now to protect my son. So Haley comes over to Danny's house, and Danny was like, girl, I'm quite popular today. And Haley was like, I know Bill was here. Danny was like, I would offer you a glass of wine, but I know you can't have anything because of the baby. Listen, I'm sure that Bill can completely open with his new bride about his whereabouts at all times. Either that or the minute that you lost track of him, you immediately panicked and to check and see if his car was in my driveway. Haley, okay, is this really false of you to try to create this false scenario to try to make me jealous? I know Bill loves me. Oh, and I hope you didn't come here just to think that you thought that anything was going to be more than nostalgia. Danny was like, look, Bill and I do have a lot of wonderful memories, that's for sure. I could get caught up and curl up on the couch and think about all the shit we built. She said, wondering if he's crossed that thin line between love and hate. And then I see your ugly face and the panic that rests upon that face. It's like looking in a damn mirror, honey. Because I was you a year ago, and you're only 6 months in with a baby on the way. So I won't go too much into what Kat and Tomas did. They have a little dinner. He said, this is the best meal that I've ever had in my entire life. And he was like, because of the food? No, because of you, blah, 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 blah. She's like, you met me at the most worst time of my life. Just all these, I love you. I don't know if it's love, but they really do have a deep like for each other. I won't go through all of that, but of course, hopefully she doesn't let the drama of Eva sitting over there steer her from their happy, no drama day to us. Stay focused, Kat. Stay focused. So while they're talking, Eva comes over there talking about, sorry to interrupt, but it would have been really weird if I would have been sitting over there and not saying hi. So, hi, Tomas. And he's like, hi. So he says, I see you reading the book over there. How far are you? Oh, I'm only on chapter 3, but I won't give you any spoilers. How about you? Oh, I'm just at the beginning. And so Kat was like, okay, enough. I mean, we need to get back to our just us time, bitch. So bye. So, Eva was like, bye. So Tomas, after Eva leaves, he asks Kat, why did you do that? We were having such a great time. See, her showing her nasty side is going to push him away. Even though Eva is nasty too, but she knows how to push Kat's buttons. And so, yeah, I think that she's fucking up really bad, which means that Tomas is going to wind up being right on top of Eva. So Bill finally arrives, honey, and he said, hello, gentlemen. Sorry I'm late. I had something personal I had to take care of. I trust that you all brought Ted up to speed. Ted is like, oh, yeah, I'm up to speed all right. So Bill's like, look, if you don't want to be here, ain't nobody keeping you. Like the last time, I thought you just had a right to know. Yeah, that's all. So Ted was like, oh, because it was something you needed me for. So Vernon says, Ted, if you stay, you're a part of whatever lines get crossed. You hear me? So Ted was like, and we'll be in Bill's dead all over again. And Joey was like, hell, not just to him. So Joey was like, you into the whole room. Anybody in here? Anybody ever seen Ocean's 11? The original one, not the Clooney one. Bunch of guys get together to achieve an impossible task. So he's like, never mind, because ain't nobody answer. Look, mistakes are inevitable, but holding together, getting together is the key so that we all can get away clean. So Joy was like, are we holding together? So Marcel was like, hey, Doc, are you in or out? And then Ted was like, I'm in. So they had a door of the elevator door. So somebody was like, did you invite Clooney? And it's Martin, baby. Martin ran in there. Martin busts in there. Granddaddy, wait a minute. All these y'all having this meeting. Granddaddy, why you didn't tell me this? And then Vernon was like, boy, I was trying to tell you to. And he said, wait a minute, Dad, you here? He was like, man, now you pulling him into it. And so Vernon was like, son, your father has known about this whole shit from the beginning.
It's not true.
Ooh. So Ted was like, look, we just trying to make sure it's gonna be all right. And so Martin was like, no, it's never gonna be all right. Kat was like, don't let her try to take our big night away from us. And so Tomas was like, she was just trying to be nice. And so Kat was like, and I'm SZA. She said, I told her tonight was special and she crashed it on purpose. So he was like, so what this was tonight? Wasn't about us? It was about sticking it to your sister? She's like, what y'all stop trying to protect that basic. Well, we talking some more about Kat and Tomas. And remember earlier I made the mistake and said love. Well, he says, well, let's go focus on how I am the best boyfriend in the world to you. And she was like, well, I love being with you. Remember, I made that mistake earlier and said that she said love, but I said, no, she never told him that she loved. Like I said, honey, I'm a psychic. I'm just like Kat, honey. I'm like the good witch, Glinda. Whoops, and she said, no more waiting, baby. I want tonight to be our first time. Ooh, Kat, you nasty. So we are back at Orphe Jeans, and so Smitty asks, Jacob, have you heard any rumors about Malone being violent or showing excessive force to anybody? I mean, what you got? What's the tea? So Jacob was like, nah, I ain't never heard no shit like that. So Jacob was like, man, I ain't heard nothing, like I said. And he said, that's a lot of money. If you think that Martin might know something about Malone and to keep his ass quiet, that's a lot of money. So Smitty's like, man, if that Malone, honey, is threatening my hubby, I will find a way to bring his ass down. Haley is back with Danny. I am completely secure in my marriage. So Danny was like, you know the old adage, honey. Ooh, Danny said, you know the old adage, because it's really not up to you. Show me the hottest girl in the world, and I will point to you a guy that's sick of fucking her. Ooh. She said shagging, but you know my mouth, honey. Ooh. Then Haley talking about, well, then you were Exhibit A, because Bill got tired of your ass. Hell, he was miserable with you. All that over-the-top DEFCON Danny nonsense. And Danny was like, and you think that boring little you is going to keep his interest, huh? Honey, I was like a roller coaster on top of a skyscraper. I was the fucking ride of that nigga's life. And not just in bed, sweetie. You have kids together, Haley says. He'd be a bastard if you still didn't have that connection with him. But I am about to have that same kind of bond. Shit, Danny was like, girl, 9 months is a long time, little Haley. My guess is that Bill loses interest once your primary draw is closed for business. If you are seriously waiting for my husband to come back to your ass, then you're gonna die waiting. Oh, and she grabs her stomach. Oh. So Danny was like, oh God, now who's acting over the top? Girl, did I hurt the imaginary fetus, girl? No, it's that tight ass vest that she got on. That what is it, corset? That's what's hurting her fucking stomach, still wearing them damn tight clothes. So we back at the office, honey, with the men. And so Elon told Martin, it's like, so if Vernon didn't invite you to the office, then how did you know? So Martin said, I came here to meet Bill. Look, this is getting way too out of control. I can't let you fight my battles, Granddad.
Fight my battles, Granddad.
Vernon was like, look, this is my battle as well. Let us handle this shit. Ted was like, boy, this ain't on you. It starts and ends with me. He's doing way too much. Martin, let those men handle that shit. You can't keep me out of it. And then Marcel with his old crazy ass about, well, the congressman does have a point there. So then he goes back into that old Raven, that's so Raven eye stuff, and he goes back to, you hear Marcel say in the background, get him the hell out of here. He starts shaking and wobbling and shit. Elon was like, look, boy, sit down, sit down, sit down. Elon was like, get out of his face. And then Bill was like, look, get his ass out of here now. Now. So Ted was like, okay, I got you. Come on, come on. It's okay, boy. Come on. Gonna be all right. Come on. I'm gonna put you in the car. I'm gonna take you home. Come on, come on. So Ted leaves with Martin, and so Vernon tell everybody, and we'll tell Ted, we'll fill him in when his ass get back. So Bill was like, all right, it's time to get after that shit. Whew, I went through a lot to get through this damn recording, but I'm done with it. And that is episode number 80 of Beyond the Gates today, y'all. What did y'all think about it? It was pretty good. Kat finally told, gonna give it up. Hey, baby, give it up. Hey, give it up. Yeah, baby, give it up. Yes. So she gonna do the Uchi Coochie with Tomas. Hopefully it's worth it. Martin is getting closer and closer to his vision, and that Ted is the only one that remember what the dude looked like. What in the world? It's like none of y'all was paying attention. Anyway, that was a great show today. It's really getting good. I'm getting tired. Like I said, I love Leslie, but she's getting desperate, and even the arguments that are happening between Kat and Eva, that's getting petty too. I can't wait for something between them to unfold, because the twin powers were definitely activating today at the country club. It was pretty cool. All right, I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye.